Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Monday, February the 7th. And we can look at Bitcoin in two different ways. We can look at it like this here with a wave 4 rally. So still looking for one more low here as an ABC coming back to the 38.2% retracement level, or the wave 4 of one lesser degree, which is in here for this. So this was always an alternative count, by the way, here, because which I'll show you why in a moment. So in this particular count here, we've got an ABC up to here, and then we'll have 5 waves down, taking the low out here. Just to have a look at this configuration here on the 1 hour chart. So this configuration is that we've got the A wave here and the A, B, C for the B wave, and 5 waves up here for the C wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's still a little, that's wave 1 and 2 in here, and that will be 3, 4, and 5. So we'll see that play out across the level. So talking trading levels now, we've got 40,000, which is a medium level, then 1, 2, 3 of minor levels, and those 3 there are a group, and they make up minor group 1. If we get a tested support on top of this level here, then we'll be going long from that point. We'll talk about that. Yeah, so anyway, that's that really, and that pulls back up to the wave 4 of one lesser degree over here. And the other count, which will look like this. So we can, as I've mentioned before, it'd be a running flat because it hasn't made the low here. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about here again and go back over it, I've probably bored you to death about all of this, but this is Bitcoin CME futures contracts here. So it didn't have that big spike down here for all of that, you know, and I found that because, I mean, for me personally, is that some Elliott people include the spike, and you can include it in lots of ways, but I kind of tend to ignore the spike to a point, because normally it's just one single news event and then it spikes the market, and then the traffic and the volume all come back into the same pathway where the market had left off, so to speak. So I'm always very wary of spikes, but on the CME futures here, because it didn't trade over the weekend, it didn't have the spike. So you know, I've always counted down here, it's a bit tricky to follow, but I always felt and mentioned along the way that we had a beautiful wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we counted the last 5 waves down here. So to me, that was always a beautiful count of 5 waves. Yes, it didn't make a low, so we can look at it as a running flat, you know, in the bigger picture as a wave C or 4 here for that. Also, too, one of the things here, it never really counted nicely up here as a wave 1. It's more like a 3-wave move here. So that gives a good case to for this to be a wave 4. But however, on Ethereum, we can count 5 waves up here. Okay, so I've often used Ethereum wave count to help me understand Bitcoins. It's nice because, you know, they're kind of mostly doing the same sort of thing. Ethereum's in a bit of a stronger position than Bitcoin at the moment with the ETH bit cross, you can see that. But from Ethereum, from the low here, I can count 5 waves up here for that. So yeah, but anyway, the main point here was that, you know, I'd always looked at this as a really nice 5-wave structure to the downside, finishing right on that low, and we called it on that low. It's just that when this started to rally here, it didn't really look like an impulse wave. But I checked this morning with Ethereum, and I can count 5 waves up. It still doesn't get us out of the woods, though. You know, we still don't know if we're Arthur or Martha on this particular situation, but this would be the running flat with wave 3 over here and the 5 waves down here. And I know a lot of people have put wave 3 down here, but it just doesn't count very well. When you know, go into a fair bit of detail, and I'll pull things apart to really confirm and check them. And I understand that this had 3 waves to the upside. It could count it as a corrective. The move down here counts as 5 waves, and then we had a nice ABC here with 5 waves in the C wave here. So that's the way I've counted it, and it's also sort of based off the CME future. So I always felt that was the best fit for that. With this now, we can look at, let's just go to the intraday here. So looking at it in a bullish count, it would look a bit like this. Now, it could be counted slightly differently in this configuration. We could probably bring wave 1 down even onto here, but I won't do that for the time being, and don't need to either, and I'll explain why in a moment. So this would be the count here for the positive move to the downside. So now we need to weed out, to work out which one is right and wrong. I mean, this is the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, so this can come up to that particular point and fail at that point. So what we need to do is we need to, if this was going to be a wave 4 here, right, we know there's a little wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in here and going up for wave 5. So we've got this move up here, right? So when it tops out, it's either going to be a wave 4 or a wave 1 or possibly a wave 3 at this point. So but in terms of a correction, it's just going to go to that top, and then it's going to work its way lower at that point. And in this move here, we're looking at 5 waves moving up here. So we've got wave 1 and 2 at the moment. And in this, you can see that we've got wave 4 there. And then we're going up for wave 5. Now in wave 5, we've currently got wave 1 and 2 here, and then 3, and then there'll be 4, and then there'll be 5 here. So that will finish off probably above group 1. So 40,000 is the medium level, carrying a fair bit of weight, and it needs to come back and check that as support. And then we've got group 1, so it's just 1, 2 and 3, 41,000, 42,000, 43,000, and the next level up is 45 and then 48. So the Fibonacci numbers as a price ratio here. So we know that using the trading levels, if we get a tested support on top of 43 with a classic trading levels pattern, then we know that we're bullish at that point. So this, if this is 43 across here, at the moment we're going, normally this is wave 3 here, the arrival, the reaction, and the first high above the level. So this leg here has normally got 5 waves in it, and this is at any degree of structure, by the way, so it doesn't really matter. And currently, as we're moving up here now, we've got 1 and 2, and we've got 3, and we'll be looking for 4 and then for 5, which will take us up around the 43,000, below or above it or whatever. But if we consider this the 43,000 across here, and the market moves above it, and then we find support over here, well, then we can go along from that point. But any move above the top here, then we just come down to the next high and the next high, you know, our normal way of moving forward to the upside. So anything above that top, and then we're bullish. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's wave 4 here. There'll be 5 little waves in this move here. Once that tops out, anything above that, we can go long. Now, because there's 5 waves there, there's 2 things that are going to happen depending on how you count this. One of them is that it'll come back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, which is there, and then move up, and then we would look at this as being wave 4 in here. That would be one way to look at it. Otherwise, we need to look at it coming back as wave 2, where it could come back a little bit deeper. Now, it probably may or may not come all the way back down to the 50-60% retracement level here, because we're working with such a large number here. It tends to drag people's, traders' minds to that large number, and ends up sort of skewing the count a little bit. So yeah, it can get a bit spiky, it can get this and get that. But this little pattern just here, if we look at that at the top, then we can look at this here coming down. We're going to have that top, and in one way or another we're going to have a second top here. Now, we don't know how far it's going to come down. Will it come down as a wave 4? Will it come down as a wave 2? But in a way, it doesn't really matter either, because we're going to be going long above this top, and then we've got that second high there where we can go long above that top. And by the way, you want to be adding on 45 as well. There'll be profit taking coming into number 8 here. So when we're talking about number 8, we're talking about group 2, so that will be 46,500. And also 47.20 in here as well. 47 is good enough, but if you want to fully understand it, then it's that 72 number in there. We just give that a bit of splash of color just to separate it a little bit. So there'll be profit taking at that point there, when you can see that consolidation over here for that. So that's it. So what we've done is we've looked at two counts and we've given them both equal weight. And to sort the oats out from the chaff, all we need to do is wait for that little 5 waves to finish up there. We could just have a bit of a look at that too, by the way. But once that finishes, then we've got that high to work on, that reference point high, and then we can drop it down to the second level. So it's basically this pattern here. That's the high and that's the second level. And if you know how to, this pattern over here, this simple pattern here, that will also encompass this larger pattern in here as a fractal. So this will be the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern. So you can refine it. But taking these highs out here, as simple as this whole thing looks, it flips the whole weight of the to the upside, and then you'll be entering at the right time. Now, it's not the best entry, of course, but it's the safest entry. So if we just have a little look at, say, 20 ticks and just look at that end bit there, we should be able to sort of get some understanding of that. Let's just get a bit more here. Just see where we are, so we get my bearings. Oh, there we are. I didn't see it all there. Okay. So there's a bit there to play out, but we'll label it, shall we? We've got nothing else to do. So that's 43 there, that's one level. This is another level here, and then the 41 here. 41,000 down here. Now we should just put those in a slightly different setting, because we can work, there's also levels between these two. So from 42 to 43 here, the Fibonacci numbers 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8, they can all be played out here as well. So I won't put them all in, I'll put in 40, it's 43, oh, so I lost the plot then, 42, 300, and then 500 here. 5 is the second strongest number, and then we've got group 2, so 650 there, 72, you'll see these numbers play out anyway, 72, 720, there we go, and number 8 there. So these are sub-levels, and you can go down further into micro levels as well, so it's just fractals. And then of course here we've got 2 and 1 here. So in terms of labeling this, it looks like we've got, what's in that little one there? Oh, it looks like 3 waves. We could probably do that. Well, certainly we've got wave 1 here and wave 2 here. This is a sort of a third wave going on here, so we'll just put that third up there, and then there'll be a fourth, and then there'll be a 5th wave up there somewhere. And that 5th wave, because this will be the 4th wave down here, and then this will be the 5th wave here, the 5th wave of, it could be 1 or 3 or something, it doesn't really matter, or even the wave 4, it doesn't really matter. So, but that's where we'll be sort of looking at this point somewhere up here for that. That will be there somewhere, that will be there. And then we've got smaller structures going on in here. So I'm just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to assume that this is 1 and 2 here. And that's 1 and 2, and that's all of there. So we still need another 3, 4 and 5 to make up that one. You'll need to adjust these as it unravels. And then we can see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. So that's just pulling back to its 38.2%, or the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. Should I use that spike or not? Doesn't really matter at this stage. But that would leave this here as that low there, and that 38.2% retracement level there. We can remove that. So that should come into that space. So, I mean, one of the things that I wonder about here that I just need to sort of clarify is that should that be there? Should that be the A, the B, and the C to that point? And then if that was the case, then that would be there, and then that would be there, and then this would be up here for this. You know, that's one way to look at it. I just can't see there at the moment with that. Looks like 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at that point, and that looks like 1. So that would be an ABC. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there. So maybe that is 1 and 2 and 5 waves to there for. I'm not quite sure to be sure there. Pretty close to there as well. Look, it's either that count, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see that. That's pretty clear. Or otherwise, we need to create another wave 1 and 2, which will be wave 1 in here and 2 in here for this. So that will just play out at the other end. So I'll put that over there, and I'll put that there, and you can figure out the rest. So that would be, if that's 1 and 2 there, that's all of 3 there, isn't it? So you'll have to push those across a little bit. So that becomes that wave 3 at that point. But I'll just copy that and pop that there. So there's 2 ways to count that up there. So, but it doesn't really matter, because even when we reach the top here, you're going to see the market come up somewhere up here somewhere, and then you're going to see some type of correction, right? You're going to see something that's going to rebalance that whole trend to the upside out. 2, 4, go back to 4. So all we're doing then is counting up from, well, this one, wasn't it? We're counting there, those 5 waves were in here. So, but like I said, it doesn't really matter if you get it right, because let it go, just let it go up, and it will pull back, and then we'll look at it here. So for the members, we'll put out that video to capture that as well. So that's it really. We've either got this as a bullish move as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, or we could look at this as 1 and 2 in some particular way, and that would be 3 and 4. Not that it matters, but once that 5 waves finishes here, then we're going to go along at that point. And if not, if that's wave 4 at that point, then the market's just going to work itself lower, and these won't be triggered at this point. The market will just keep working lower. Eventually this 40,000 will become the retested resistance, and if you know that that's going to occur, then you can be on the short side, and you can expect one more low to come in to play at that point. So that's it. So we have a trade setup over here. We don't know if it's going to trigger in any long trades at that point, but if it does, well then that's the low, and then we'll be climbing above the 50,000 at that point, and we'll be on our way, and Bitcoin's will be, you'll see, to the moon in the headlines. Okay, cheers.